To whom it may concern. I recently purchased your 4-inch peeling knife. It was on sale, but just because it's on sale doesn't mean it should be worse than the knife that wasn't on sale, right? You advertise it as, and I quote, "The chef's ultimate weapon. The ergonomically designed handle offers maximum comfort, giving way to a razor-sharp carbon steel blade." You also note that it cuts through fruits and vegetables like hot butter, standing up to the demands of the busiest professional kitchens with no need for sharpening for 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years. Not weeks, not months, years. I've had your knife for 6 days, and in those 6 days I've cut half a dozen tomatoes, 2 onions, 1 each red, orange, and yellow peppers, and 2 cloves of garlic. Not bunches, cloves. And not even the big ones. And kind of going soft. So therein lies our problem. Last night I take your knife that doesn't need sharpening for 3 to 5 years, and 13 vegetables later, it punks out. When it comes to 2 puny wrists, your razor-sharp carbon steel blade isn't up to the job. It cuts like a butter knife, and the blood is dripping so slow it could be hours before I even lose consciousness. Oh, and my parents are the only parents I know that don't have a lethal pharmacy in their medicine cabinet, which means that now, because of your carbon steel disappointment, I have to sit around and wait and hurt. The whole point of your knife is so that I don't have to hurt anymore. Do you know what it's like to have people smear egg yolks on your lunch table just before you get there so you have nowhere to sit? Don't worry, they didn't waste the whites. Those went into my lunch bag, and both of those were better than the rotting mouse in my locker. I used to cry about it, but I stopped. Because what's the point? Unless you're too busy crying to think. But that might be something. And I can never fall asleep anymore, because I know I'm going to wake up the next morning, and we both know what an upper that's going to be. So I put off sleeping as long as I can, which means thinking about the last day, and we both know what an upper that already was. And my grades are circling the bowl, because it's hard to be smart in school when you only sleep between 5 and 6:30 every morning. So I'm sitting here, bleeding really slowly, because you people are incompetent, and I'm trying to forget about the pain because it isn't supposed to be like this. And the power goes out, so there's no TV, no computer, no light, nothing. And my parents are away, as usual, and even when they're home, it's just me. Totally alone. And I should be free by now, but I'm not, thanks to you. And I'm on the floor, bleeding, in the dark. And I'm leaning up against my closet. And in this closet is this old battery-powered radio I got at a junk shop. It's the only thing in this whole house that works. No, I don't have a cell phone, and yes, they make fun of me for that too. Thank you for asking. But the radio works because I guess they made things better in the old days before they started importing lead from China. It's only AM, but that's better than silence. Better than what's in my head. If there's a talk show about sports, but I don't really get the sports. I want to, but I'm not good at it, and whenever I talk about it, it feels fake. If there's music in a language that's not English, but it's not Spanish either, and some scratchy religious guy trying to save my soul if I'll send him $50. But your knife pretty much cleaned me out. I'm about to give up. But then I hear this other voice. And he's barely on a different band from the preacher, so I have to get the dial just right, which isn't easy to do with 2 slashed wrists. But I finally get it. And he's like my age. Is there anyone out there? Can anyone hear me? It's Frankie, 4 a.m., and if you're awake and alive, let me know. I've got a great show for you this morning, and every morning, so just tune in and let's begin. So I start to listen. And he does all these jokes that are kind of funny and kind of not, and interviews with imaginary celebrities, and you can tell he's doing all the voices himself. And he's not entirely good all the time, but he's so much better than you. And he starts doing these commercials, and he does one for your knives. And he hates them too. And at the end, it's so funny, because he says thank you for making such crappy knives. Only he's making fun of you, but I think you get that. But the more I listen, the more I forget that I hurt, or I put it out of my head, and I'm thinking, what's he going to do tomorrow? How does he know about your knives? And does he take call-ins? There's a phone number, but I don't know if it's real. I want to try calling in and get more familiar, and maybe I could be on a radio show that nobody listens to, but it would still be kind of awesome. And if the phone number doesn't work, there must be some way of getting in touch with him. I'll bet radio people are like a tribe, and somebody will know. But I want to listen to a few more shows before I try calling in. Get more familiar. But it's like with every minute I listen, it just makes 4 a.m. in my life that much easier to take. So this is kind of a thank you note. Because if your knives had actually worked, I'd never have heard Frankie. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you for making such crappy knives.